don't think I've ever seen another game constantly get into and out of hot water. Watching Magic the Gathering screw up is like watching John Travolta mispronounce Idina Menzel's name.
The wickedly talented one and only Adele Dazeem.
You kind of want to cringe into a diamond, but you also can't look away.
Adele Dazeem.
And you want to watch it again and again. So that's what we're going to do in this video. Not John Travolta Magic the Gathering. As is the case with any long-standing entity, the 3-decade journey of MTG has been peppered with triumphs and missteps. These incidents, ranging from issues with card quality to more serious allegations around cultural insensitivity, have stirred heated discussions and debates among players, fans, and industry observers. Yet despite these setbacks, Magic's allure has proven resilient. The game keeps people coming back. It's amazing. But look, you saw the video's thumbnail. We aren't here to talk about all the amazing things Magic the Gathering has gotten right. We're going to dive into the less shiny aspects, the times when Magic the Gathering missed the mark, and the community was there to call them out. By name, Idina Menzel.
Adele Dazeem.
Highest level of gratitude to our patrons who power the channel through Patreon. Check out the Patreon link in the description to learn about monthly giveaways, VIP Discord access, and even our official playmat.
In 2023, Magic the Gathering hit a major milestone, its 30th anniversary. As expected, Wizards of the Coast decided to mark this occasion with a special edition release. However, what was meant to be a celebration of the game's rich history quickly turned into a source of contention within the Magic the Gathering community.
Each display will cost $999 before shipping and taxes and contain 4 randomized boosters.
The high price drew the ire of a large swath of the player base who felt the cost was prohibitive and excluded all but the wealthiest players. For many, the price was less accessible celebration and more exclusive club. But the controversy wasn't just about the cost. There was a sense of missed opportunity, a feeling that Wizards could have used this landmark anniversary to engage with the player base in a more meaningful and inclusive way. Instead, the company chose money. This is the part where I would say if it sold out or not, so we could know how successful or not it was, but we don't truly know what happened. The sale concluded after about 25 minutes of being live, and it's still speculated that WotC just has a lot of this product hiding in a warehouse next to the Legends packs that they found for Dominaria United. Regardless, the scandal serves as a reminder to Wizards and the wider gaming industry that price sensitivity is an important factor in community sentiment, especially when it comes to celebratory products. From the shocking full spoiler of New Phyrexia that hit the internet weeks ahead of its official release in 2011, to the unexpected sneak peeks of the 2023 set Aftermath, the MTG community has been regularly treated or tormented, depending on who you ask, with unauthorized leaks of new sets before they are officially spoiled. These leaks, often exposing card details, artwork, or entire mechanics before Wizards of the Coast is ready to unveil them, have become something of an unwelcome tradition in the MTG community. It's like finding your holiday gifts in the attic months before the celebration. It can be thrilling, but it does spoil the surprise, and that's where you found the doll. And ever since the doll, you haven't felt quite right. And now maybe you think you're cursed and you keep opening cabinets and there's the doll and you're not really sure what to do about the doll or what the doll wants or how to get rid of the doll. All you know is the doll is everywhere and you can't get it to stop. I'm fine. The New Phyrexia leak was a major shock. The entire set was spoiled. The PDF of the so-called God Book, meaning a document with every card on it, was sent to a publication ahead of the set for preview. The publication asked the world champion at the time to review it, presumably for writing and analysis. That's normal. But he sent it to a buddy, that buddy sent it to another buddy, and that buddy put it on the internet. The natural food chain of life. All those people involved got DCI banned for a while because of it. Remember DCI numbers? I pointed mine out on a little card and laminated it. Going back to 2016, the relationship between Wizards of the Coast and its judge community hit a rocky patch. That year, Wizards of the Coast suspended several judges and even entire regional judge communities over leaked card images from the upcoming Oath of the Gatewatch set. The leaked cards had been shared on the internet weeks ahead of the official spoiler season, leading to a substantial early reveal of the entire set's contents. Wizards of the Coast viewed the leaks as a severe breach of trust, and their response was swift and uncompromising. However, their action resulted in significant backlash from the Magic community. Critics argued that Wizards of the Coast had acted too harshly, penalizing judges who had been merely caught in the crossfire rather than the original source of the actual leaks. Despite Wizards' wishes to the contrary, sets continue to leak. Sets like Ixalan, where we saw an entire uncut sheet showing most of the set's rares leaked by a printer, and most recently Aftermath, were all subject to early leaks. Often these leaks come from loose-lipped distributors, overly excited playtesters, or, as was the case with Aftermath, an aloof store owner not paying attention that this isn't March of the Machine, this is March of the Machine Aftermath. You can't sell March of the Machine Aftermath yet, just March of the Machine. If you sell March of the Machine Aftermath and not just March of the Machine, you might end up in a Rockstar video game.
I don't want to kill all these folk, Dutch. Just you.
In that case, it'd be my honor to join you.
Leaks stir mixed feelings within the community. Some players relish the early peak, seeing it as a chance to begin brewing new decks or speculating on card investments. Others, however, view them as spoilers that ruin the entire experience of discovering a new set organically as the developers intend. These players argue that the leaks detract from the magic of enjoying each new release and its corresponding lore. Despite their efforts to control the flow of information, including stricter non-disclosure agreements, enhanced security measures at printing facilities, and the threat of violence, leaks persist. This is a stack of cards from Commander Legends, a set from a few years back. Can you tell me where the foils are? Go ahead and take a peek. I'll leave it on screen for just a second. You tell me where the foils are. A card that should be fun and exciting to pull and play isn't usable when it won't lie flat on a table. The foil curling issue, I think, is emblematic of the larger challenges in the TCG industry. The constant tug-of-war between quality and cost, player satisfaction, profit margins. The curling foil problem stands as a stark reminder that even the behemoths of the gaming world aren't immune to the nitty-gritty challenges of physical production. And look, this is one of the few issues with Magic that I don't really have any positive spin to. I have unplayable Secret Lairs and foils from multiple boxes of Commander Legends that I opened that are literally playable, and that's not the only set that this has been a problem. There is no positive spin to this. It has to be fixed. It's ridiculous at this point. When Magic the Gathering Arena launched in 2018, it was met with anticipation and excitement. It promised a digital experience that was as close to the paper game as possible, with intuitive controls, visual effects to spice up the gameplay, and accessibility for both newcomers and longtime Magic fans. However, the game's economy soon became a point of contention. MTGA's economy is dual currency, featuring gold earned from gameplay and gems, a premium currency purchasable with real money. The balance between these two currencies and the rate at which they're obtained quickly became a source of criticism. Many players felt that the grind to earn gold was too arduous, especially for those who couldn't or wouldn't spend real money on gems. A player could earn gold by completing daily quests or winning games, but the amount gained often felt paltry compared to the cost of participating in events or acquiring new packs. On the other hand, purchasing gems with real money provided immediate access to most of Arena's offerings, leading some to accuse the game of being pay to win. A player with a hefty gem balance could rapidly grow their collection and build powerful decks, a stark contrast to the slow grind of a free-to-play user. Further, the dusting system, or the complete lack of one, contributed to that economy's criticism. Unlike many other digital card games, Arena does not allow players to dismantle unwanted cards for resources to craft desired ones. Instead, it uses a wildcard system where opening packs gradually earns wildcards of various rarities, which can then be exchanged for any card of matching rarity. While this system prevents players from regretful dusting, it also limits player agency and slows down the rate at which they can acquire specific cards. Despite these criticisms, MTGA has attracted a significant player base, showing that while its economy may be divisive, it's not a deal breaker for everyone. Wizards of the Coast has made some adjustments over time, such as the introduction of the Mastery system, providing additional rewards and different ways to obtain wildcards and packs, including just straight up buying wildcards, but the core criticisms remain. The April 2020 release of Ikoria Lair of Behemoths saw a new mechanic introduced to the MTG multiverse: companions. 10 powerful creatures, each imposing deck building restrictions to allow them to be designated as a companion, available from the sideboard each game. You could just cast it straight up. That's how this was released. It really seemed like, from the outside looking in, they asked themselves in development, how can we cash in on the popularity of Commander but in constructed formats? I don't know, that's just my 2 cents. Leave me a comment and let me know what you think was the approach here. Players rapidly identified the mechanic's potential to be game warping. With a companion, you effectively start each game with an additional card in hand, a powerful advantage in a game as resource-driven as MTG. The outcry eventually led Wizards of the Coast to revisit the mechanic and change its rules, a rare thing for them to do, indicating the depth of the mistake here. What makes the companion controversy particularly noteworthy isn't just the impact it had on the game's balance, but the speed at which it unfolded. It took less than 2 months from the release of Ikoria for the companion rule change to be implemented, reflecting both the power of the mechanic and the intensity of the community's reaction. I mean, one of the cards was banned in Commander before it was even previewed. Here's this cool new card. You'll never be able to play this in Commander. Companions ended up being a huge design mistake that MTG sent to print, but there was an IP crossover printed that shook the community to its core and changed the game forever. Hey, real quick, if you would do me a favor and subscribe to our channel if you like this video by the end of it, or if you like any of our other stuff. I know it's cheesy and cliche to ask, but it helps so much with YouTube showing our videos to more people. So thank you in advance for clicking that and helping us achieve our dreams. Let's see what happened with Secret Lair X The Walking Dead. In 2020, Wizards of the Coast took a crossover approach with the release of a Secret Lair drop, a limited time product directly sold to consumers. The twist was this Secret Lair was a crossover with the hit television series The Walking Dead. The controversy stemmed from the inclusion of mechanically unique cards, a departure from past Secret Lair drops. Previously, these sets contained reprints of existing cards with new art. However, the Walking Dead drop had brand new cards with brand new unique abilities that were exclusive to this product, and you could only buy them if you bought them right then. Timed drops. Players felt that this was a break from the spirit and accessibility of the game. In essence, it locked players who couldn't afford or access the limited time drop out of owning these unique cards. It didn't help that one of these exclusive cards, Rick, Steadfast Leader, quickly proved to be an actually strong playable card. The perception of pay-to-win elements creeping into Magic the Gathering did not sit well with players. It also didn't help that we saw good templating for IP crossovers in Ikoria earlier that same year, but these didn't have that. I assume that this is part of the licensing deal and how using the characters' names worked, but it's weird to see a good solution and then just see it ignored the next time it could be used. The Secret Lair Walking Dead drop was a bold move, certainly. It showcased a willingness to innovate and expand beyond the game's traditional fantasy boundaries, but it also highlighted a crucial tension. Innovation must not come at the expense of accessibility and fairness in gameplay. It's a lesson that Wizards, and indeed any company looking to marry the world of collectibles and competitive play, would do well to heed. Since then, the IP crossovers have only increased, with this one Secret Lair leading to full sets of 100-card Commander decks, leading to now a full booster set with corresponding Commander decks, 3 types of boosters, special sets, and so forth. The launch of War of the Spark Mythic Edition in May 2019 should have been a momentous occasion, an exciting release celebrating Magic's most iconic planeswalkers with stunning alternate art. Instead, it ended up as one of the most controversial events in Magic's history, but not because of the cards themselves. The problem started when Wizards of the Coast decided to sell the highly sought-after product exclusively through eBay. This was intended to make the release accessible to a wider audience than previous Mythic editions, which were sold through Hasbro's website and were plagued by distribution issues themselves and crappy internet issues from Hasbro's site not being equipped to handle a lot of traffic at once. There's a big difference between someone logging on to buy the new My Little Pony or Star Wars toy, but every MTG player and their mother and their dog, the site was just shutting down all morning and you had to get lucky. Unfortunately, the eBay experiment was a disaster, just like the Hasbro site. The servers couldn't handle the surge of traffic when sales went live, leading to errors that allowed far more orders than the available supply. Tens of thousands of orders were placed, but there were only 12,000 sets available. Some buyers had their orders canceled and refunded, only to see the product relisted at a higher price other places by scalpers. This triggered a wave of outrage, with fans taking to social media to vent their frustration and accuse Wizards of the Coast of mishandling the situation. Wizards of the Coast attempted to address the issue, apologizing for the mishap and offering affected customers a free, uncut sheet of foil, War of the Spark, rares and mythics. Ding! However, even this apology gesture was marred by controversy as reports emerged of these uncut sheets being damaged in transit due to inadequate packaging. In 2019, alongside the huge arena push, Wizards of the Coast announced the creation of the Magic Pro League and Rivals League, two professional circuits designed to foster and showcase the highest levels of competitive play in Magic the Gathering. However, just 2 years later in 2021, the company made the sudden announcement that both leagues would be dissolved, a decision that sent shockwaves through the MTG community. The MPL and Rivals League were conceived as a reinvention of the professional Magic scene, elevating the game to the level of mainstream esports. They offered lucrative contracts to selected players who would then compete in a series of high-stakes tournaments throughout the entire season. The goal was to create a spectacle of competition, enhancing Magic's appeal as a spectator sport. However, the execution fell short of the grand vision. The leagues were marred by communication issues, lack of clarity about player selection, and perceived favoritism. The tournaments themselves were hit or miss in terms of excitement, and the online format, necessitated by the global pandemic, lacked the energy of in-person events. The cancellation was accompanied by the promise of a new system, one that would provide opportunities for all Magic players to achieve the highest levels of competitive play. However, at that time, the specifics were scant, leading to further uncertainty and apprehension. This incident highlights the difficulties in sustaining a professional circuit for a trading card game, especially in the rapidly changing landscape of esports. It also underscores the importance of clear communication and fair policies. Wizards of the Coast's handling of the MPL League and Rivals League was a misplay, one that they are surely keen to learn from as they move forward. In 2018, Magic the Gathering experienced another significant controversy that would stir heated debate in the community. The eye of the storm was a single card, a powerful instant called Nexus of Fate. Its power wasn't the problem, it's how the card was distributed that ignited the controversy. But don't get me wrong, it was powerful. It gives extra turns and it doesn't exile itself. It was a promotional buy-a-box card only obtainable through purchasing a full booster box from a game store. Traditionally, these promo cards were designed to be fun and flavorful, or cool reprints of a card that already existed, but not so powerful that they would dominate competitive play. As Nexus of Fate's popularity in competitive play soared, so did its price and so did its scarcity. Many players found it difficult, if not impossible, to acquire copies of the card without buying an entire booster box or paying inflated prices on the secondary market. This led to accusations that Wizards had yet again created a pay-to-win scenario, undermining the game's competitive integrity. In response to the backlash, Wizards of the Coast acknowledged the issue and promised to reassess how they handle buy-a-box promos in the future. We've talked about some scarcity controversies, but this one in particular is nuts because it's like the first one of those ever. Back in the early days of Magic the Gathering, Wizards of the Coast experimented with various methods of card distribution. One such experiment occurred in 1994 when they released the card Nalathni Dragon as a giveaway exclusive to attendees of the Dragon Con convention. Nalathni Dragon was more than just a promotional card, it was a fully tournament legal card with unique abilities. However, its distribution model led to significant accessibility issues. Only those who attended the convention, a limited group compared to the global Magic player base, had the opportunity to receive the card. This resulted in a scarcity that drove the card's price up and made it hard for many players to acquire. The Nalathni Dragon controversy is an early example of the tensions that can arise between Magic as a game and Magic as a collectible. Following the backlash, Wizards of the Coast made a promise never to create tournament legal cards that were exclusive to specific events or promotions, a policy they've mostly stuck to since, outside of a few whoopsie-doopsies. The current model of print 5 different versions of every single card so that base copies prices are just completely diminished so that the game itself is accessible and everything else is just collectible, I have no doubt in my mind that that is resulting from lessons learned over the years. Let's go back to where it all started and step into Magic the Gathering's history, arriving in 1995. The year that saw the release of the Chronicles expansion set, the big bang of MTG controversy, so to speak, whose effects truly ripple to this very day. Chronicles was a unique set as it was composed entirely of reprints of earlier cards from Magic's initial sets. The idea was to make some of the game's early popular cards more accessible to players. However, what was intended as a move toward accessibility quickly ignited controversy. When Chronicles hit the shelves, it led to a substantial devaluation of the cards it reprinted. This upset many players, especially those who collected or invested in the original cards. The backlash was fierce, and in response, Wizards of the Coast made a controversial move. They introduced the Reserve List in 1996. The Reserve List is a promise by Wizards of the Coast never to reprint certain cards, with the aim being to protect the value of these cards and reassure collectors. While it might have solved the immediate issues, it created new ones. Over the years, as Magic has continued to grow in popularity, many cards on the reserve list have become increasingly sought after due to their power level or iconic status. The Chronicles backlash and the creation of the reserve list are key moments in Magic's history. They represent the true tension between the accessibility and the collectability that is inherent in the game of Magic. While these issues continue to be a point of debate, they also underscore the community's passion for the game and their investment in its future. So for me, there's only one question that remains. Magic the Gathering's journey is a testament to the resilience of a community and a game that refuses to be defined by its shortcomings. Instead, it learns, adapts, and perseveres. Magic is more than just a collectible card game. It's a continuously evolving narrative that players around the world contribute to, engage with, fight for. Magic's survival is not despite the controversies, but because of them. They serve as catalysts for change, pushing Magic the Gathering to grow and adapt and become a game worthy of the passion and dedication of its global community. Here's the question that remains. In a world of more variants, more sets, more crossovers, more lottery cards, how much is too much? What's it going to take to completely drive the community away? Can it be driven away? Is this a golden goose that can even be killed?